Welcome to the Global Speaker Advantage, the #1 podcast where your voice goes beyond borders. Hosted by Nshom, international speaker and coach, this show is for speakers ready to grow influence, land paid gigs, and make a global impact. Tune in every Tuesday and Friday weekly for insights, interviews, and strategies to help you thrive on the world stage. Let's go global.
This is the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, where every episode is a masterclass. In this particular episode, I'm going to be uncovering some 12 friends that you need to unfriend them in order to stay focused for your future. Wherever you're watching around the world indicates from whatever platform you're watching what you are actually where you are, which country are you watching us from. And of course, get your notepad and get your pen, get ready, because this master class is going to be an epitome moment in your life. You don't want to miss that. So get your pens and get your notebooks. Overall, we want to touch lives and voices in every corner or part of the world to ensure that they stretch out and seize the best of the opportunities that they deserve and to create global impact. I'm your host, Nshom. My name is Jaffe Joffer, the king of Zamunda. I am looking for my son, Akim. Do you remember that? Now, for those of you who love movies or watching films, movies, you must have quickly thought about the legendary production called Coming to America, produced by Paramount Pictures, and that was actually a movie that was shot 1988. What I mean, like by 1988 myself, I was not born by 1988. So it was such a legendary one, and I really admired a lot of actors, like Eddie Murphy, which played the role of the son, which was actually the person that Jones was talking about, which was actually the king of Zamunda. So James Earl Jones was the king. He acted the role of the king, and he did he did a phenomenal job in that particular role of the king. And in this movie, of course, Akim had a good friend, and his name was Simi. For those of you who remember the movie, it's actually one of the favorite movies and one of my personal favorite movies. So Akim was on his search for a wife for himself, because the king of Zamunda wanted him, together with the queen of course, to get married to somebody that he had not dated, he had not been a friend to. And so he was like, I'm not going to do this. So they put together a party for him, and people gathered, and at the end of the day, Akim was like, I can't take this trap. And guess what? At the end of the day, Akim was like, I can't go for this kind of relationship. And so he proposed to his dad that he was going to go out and gain some exposure and experience and be able to get the wife of his dream. And that's how Akim and Simi, good friends, they left to America. And so when they came to the United States, the center that was, of course, in New York, in Queen Street, they had a very hard time and a beautiful time, and awesome moments there. And long story in short, the bottom line is Akim eventually, of course, got married, and the interesting thing is, at times, how his friend Simi betrayed him while they were in America. and the kind of things that happened during that time. And that talks about the power of friends. Friend, have you ever heard the words that two can work together? In fact, it is a scripture in the Bible. Two cannot work together unless they agree. You must have heard of that before, of course. And again, have you ever heard the expression that says that, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are? You must have heard that before. That is exactly what I'm talking about. So, what is my point? My point is that friendships, relationships are very important. And that is why in this podcast today, I'm doing a solo podcast today. Okay. And it's that's so intentional that I want to discuss with you some amazing things that can empower and permit you to be able to filter the right friends, of course, from the wrong ones. Did you hear that? What can make you to filter the right friends from the wrong ones? You get that? So get your pen and get your jotter, and we're going to be right back. So what are the 12 things, okay, that can actually what are the 12 things you have to do, okay, to be able to get the right friends, how to know the right friends, and how to know who is not a friend for you. All right. So I want to discuss about these 12 things because friendships are very important, relationships are very important, and if you keep the right people in your life, it can determine how fast you can go in life. I think the things I've achieved in life at this point, it's all thanks to relationships that I kept. It's all thanks to the friends I kept. It's all. I remember how my friends, together with myself, we fought hard for my dreams. How we fought hard for their own dreams. How we prayed, we fasted, we did all kinds of things in order to actually live up to the expectations that we have set for ourselves. And that couldn't have been possible. The things I have today, the family and all the stuff, they couldn't have come true if I never had good friends. So it is important for you to have good friends, all right? To have good friends for us to be able to achieve our dreams, okay? So are you ready to discover these 12 kind of friends that each and every one of us need to keep in order to be able to build the future and build the goals that we have? So if you're ready, just type ready on the chat box, okay? Everybody type ready on the chat box. Type ready on the chat box and let's go. The first kind of friend that you have to avoid by all means, you have to unfriend by all costs, is the kind of friend that I will call the distraction addict. Okay? Type on the chat box the distraction addict. Yes. Who is a distraction addict? The distraction addict is that friend that constantly distracts you, that constantly swooped in to your life, to your plans, to your agendas, and interrupt you inadvertently. That is the distraction addict. There are some people that they will often call you when you are at the midst of doing something. That is understandable. Once, twice, thrice. That's understandable to an extent. But if it becomes a habit that they call and distract you anytime you're about to do something important with your life, valuable with your life, anytime you take a big move, a bigger step, they're coming and they distract you with unnecessary meetings, with unnecessary plans, with unnecessary agendas, that becomes a distraction addict. And I bet you, if you keep such friends around you in your life, I want to assure you, your future will be traded off. You are trading up your future. The things, the glorious things that God has created you to do for His glory, you are trading that off with this kind of friends. So please, you have to consider unfriending distraction addicts, and you can caution them. And then before doing that, if you do that, that could be of a great transformation to your career, to your life, to your family, and to your generation. The second kind of friend that you have to unfriend, all right, in this digital era is a friend that I will call the complainer. Okay, you can call it the complier. You can call that the complier. So who is a complier? The complier is that kind of friend that does it. These people, they want to compare everything that you are doing to what they are doing. They want to compare your life to their life. They want to compare your goals to their goals. They want to compare your vision to their vision. Like, what the heck? It doesn't work like that. That's not how life is supposed to work. You don't necessarily have to compare everything that your friends are doing to you. For instance, if your friend want to build this type of house, you equally want to build this kind of house. If your friend want to go to this country, you equally want to go to this country. Your friend want to get married to this kind of wife, you also equally want to get married to. Run. When you have a friend who is having this attitude, of a compliant, run away from that friend, because that friend can bring you pain. That friend can almost be like, a pain on your neck. You know what I mean? That those kind of friends are not people to keep around you. Run away from compliers, because they will not help you to focus on your goals and on your future. The third kind of friend that you have to run away from at all costs is the gossiper. The gossiper. The gossiper. The gossipers are not good people to have around you. The gossipers are not good people to have around you. Run away from any person who gossips. Remember, if a friend of yours gossips about another friend to you, know that you're finished. Because when you will not be there, he or she would inadvertently gossip about you with other people. And you don't want to build a system, an ecosystem of gossipers. That won't help you. That will not help you. So you have to escape, run away from gossipers. Run and run and run. See me, as I started describing the movie Coming to America, might not have been a gossiper, but there were a lot of things. Do you know that Simi actually told a couple of people in Coming to America in his role as a friend and a servant to the king of Zamunda? He told a couple of people that he himself was the prince, and Akim was a servant to the king, which eventually means that Akim was his servant. All right. So those are some attitudes that when you spot them out, you have to flee away from such people. So the third kind of friend is the gossiper. Anybody that comes to you and is telling that, hey, do you know, have you heard, have you done this? Run away from that friend, because that is the same thing he is gonna or she is gonna tell to the other people in your absence. So and you don't want to cultivate this kind of environment, this kind of people around you. You don't want to keep such kind of people around you. You got to run away from them. Run for your dear life. All right. So the fourth kind of friend that you have to stay away from is the kind of friend that I will call the enabler. The enablers, you can call them the bad habits or the procrastinators. These are people that they have bad habits. They constantly drag you behind, they constantly pull you behind, they constantly procrastinate. You agree with them that, hey, this is what we're going to do on Monday. Monday has come and they're not showing up. You agree with them that this is what we're going to do next year. Next year comes and then they're not showing up. And they keep saying that, okay, let's take it for next year. Let's take it for next day. Let's take it for next month. Let's take it for the next hour. At the end of the day, but you're not doing what you agreed to do. You're not where you agreed to be, and you're not making progress in your life. And like, why should you be keeping such people in your life? People that are very, very enabling. They are procrastinators. They have bad habits. You don't want to keep them, because they won't help you to move ahead. So you have to identify people that can help you move ahead. And those should be people of good habit, people that don't say they do things and they do them. That's the fourth kind of friend. So the fifth kind of friend that you want to keep away from you are the negative influencers. Oh my God. Type on the chat box, negative influencers. Influencers. These are people that they will always be a pain on your neck, friend. Once you identify them, run, like run away from them. There are some people that are very negative, very, very, very negative. All the comments they make, all the posts they make, they only criticize people. They only label people. They are very narcissistic. They are very obnoxious. You know, they are so unfriendly to be around them as a friend. And what that means is that when you spot people like that, you read through their first post, their second post, the third post, the fourth post, the fifth post, negativity, again and again and again. Boy, it's high time you run away from such people. It's high time you really just run away from such people, because such friends, they are not going to help you. You know what I mean? They will not help you. You don't have that time to be assuming negative energy here, negative energy. You don't want that. So if you have a friend who is a negative influencer, who spends the time criticizing people, criticizing politicians, criticizing men of God, criticizing all the time, they never say something good about somebody, run. Carry your feet and run. Unfriend that relationship. They will sabotage you one day. So watch out for that, please. And if you're watching this and you fall under any of these categories, it is a call for concern. It's a clarion call for concern that, hey, you have to do something about that. You literally have to do something about that. Okay? So what is the number six kind of friend that we have to watch out for? The flicker. The flicker. Did you hear that? The flicker. The flicker is a friend who does not know himself or herself, who is so intimidated, who changes plans all the time. For instance, you have a friend, and the moment you are expecting him at most, the highest time you're expecting him, the moment you totally count on him or on her, that is the moment he disappoints you. The moment you really expect him to show up or her to show up, that is the moment that she does not show us up. That is the flicker. And you, guess what? You got to run away. You have to run away from that particular friend. Because flickers don't hurt. They will end up sabotaging your energy and disrupting everything you have been trying to build, sapping away your energy, and they will truncate your plans. All right. And when that happens, that can only sweat you away, derail you away from your main course. Be mindful of the fact that those people at times, they can appear to be so nice and so good. Be mindful. But guess what? You have to let them go. You have to leave them alone. So watch out for flickers. And the seventh, of course, is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, friends. There are a lot of people that they are on the social media space just to bully others, drag others, like they call it now. They call it, it's kind of a new word, dragging. They're dragging people out there, cyberbullying, criticizing people for things they have not done, for things they are so innocent of. So if you have people who cyberbully others, you got to run away from them. Those people wouldn't help you. Those people will destroy and sap away your energy. You don't want to keep such people who cyberbully people. Your job is to use the internet the right way. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, like, LinkedIn. Use those platforms with the right conduct, with the right mindset, with the right intentions to build, to empower, to uplift people's spirit. A lot of people are already going through a lot, and so you don't want to add to what they're going through by being by bullying them, by being a bully. You don't want to do that. So you need to avoid as much as possible to cyberbully others. And so if you have a friend right now who has those tendencies, please, you advise the person gently and kindly and nicely. And if he doesn't change, or he doesn't change this, run away from that person, because that person will bully you one day on the cyberspace. And so the next kind of friend that you want to be aware of and run away from is the time waster. The time waster. The time waster are the kind of friends that they will waste their time and come and join you to waste your own time. For instance, have you ever heard the expression that says that if you don't plan for your life, somebody else will plan for you? Right? So they will plan for their own life and put you in their agenda. So if you get up in the morning, you don't know exactly what to do, somebody will call you like, hey, let's have a walk, let's hang out, let's do this. Before you notice, your day is finished and you're not done anything for yourself. You don't want that to be your case study. You don't want that to happen to you. And so if you identify friends who are time wasters, hang around with people who are using time productively, effectively, efficiently to get things done, to achieve things, not people who just whine and whine and whine and whine and waste their time. Those people won't help you. They won't take you where you're supposed to be. They won't assist you to get you to your future or to your goals at all. At all. You don't want to hang around with such kind of people. So the ninth is what we call validation seeker. Don't hang around with validation seekers. Do not hang around with validation seekers, because if you do, you'll be so exhaustive all the time. You'll be so exhausted all the time, and at the same time exhausted all the time. What that means is that you need to ask yourself, why is this person always asking me how he looks like? Why is this person always asking me all the time the least decision she wants to take? The least decision he wants to take doesn't mean that he does not have some self-worth that can actually make him to see it himself or herself. Of course, because people that constantly ask for validation, most of the time, they will not even implement. And most of the time, they always freak out. And so ask yourself, are you the kind of friend that always asks for constant validation, or you have somebody around? So if that is the case, talk to the person, recommend, advise, counsel, and if it does make some changes, move ahead with your life. And then we have the 10th kind of friend that you need to watch out and avoid is the drama magnets. The drama magnets are those kind of friends that they constantly look for people's problems. They're constantly invading on other people's privacy. They're constantly invading on people's affairs that they have not been called to. Unsolicited advisors that they come in and they bring drama in your life. And they are always in trouble. Today, they're in this particular problem. Tomorrow, they're in this particular problem. The next day, they're in this particular problem. The other day, they're in this particular problem. And they keep on putting themselves into trouble and disturbing you all the time and calling you and doing stuff. That's what we call the drama magnet. So you need to avoid it. I'm not saying that you don't have to misinterpret me, right? Now, there are people, friends, that they get into trouble once in a while. All right. That is understandable. Like, we understand it happens. Anybody can get into difficulties and challenges once in a while. Yes, that is a call for help. So you have to, if you are able to, please help them out. But we are not talking a situation, we're talking about a situation where all the time they're always in trouble. All the time. Every month, after 3 months, after a year, trouble all the time. That is what we call actually the drama magnet. And you have to run. You have to run away from such friends, because these relationships, if you maintain, you keep them, they can actually sabotage you. Okay, they can sabotage you. Before we go to the 11th and the 10th friend, dear friend, I want you to enjoy this particular art, and I'm going to be just right back so we can proceed. Okay, enjoy it and have fun. You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's moment for you to shine. We will work with you one-on-one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and list it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time. Welcome back, my dear friend. This is Nshom, your host, and of course, we are live on the Global Speakers Advantage podcast. And today is a very special episode. And today, I decided to do it solo so I could be able to, through this platform, help a lot of people come out of their shackles, come out of their dark rooms, of their valleys, in the name of relationships, friends that they have been in that can cause their future, that can cause their destinies, that can, of course, cause all they have been working for, all their parents have worked for in the past years, their great parents, their great grandparents, their great grandparents, their great grandparents, they have worked for, labored for, and given to them. And one Mr. X or Miss Y could just come in one day and take away all of that for generations. No. And that's why it is important. That's why our team at the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, we deemed it necessary for us to have this conversation. It is brutal, but effective. It is hard, but decent and good for you. And that is why today we have been talking about 12 friends that you have to unfriend them. The 12 friends you have to unfriend them. The hidden digital sabotagers or saboteurs destroying your focus, your future, your dreams, and you need to be aware of these friends. Because if you're not aware of these friends, they will be aware of you and they will rob you of your destiny. And so we talked about the first type, the distraction addict. People who comes in, interrupt you, distract you when you're working on some major goals, major dreams, major objectives. Cut them off. Number two, the complier. People that they are good at comparing you to themselves. When you say you want to do this, they say they also want to do that. When you say you want to go to this country, they also say they want to go to this country. When you say you want to do this kind of project, they say they want to do the same thing. They constantly look at you and compare themselves. Look at you and compare themselves. They ask you, they want to know the number of books you've written. They want to know the number of children you have. They want to know the number of whatever you had. No, like it's not too necessary. People who constantly compare themselves to you, that can be a sign that they could really bring problems. And so those are people you have to watch out for them. And if you have a friend like that who constantly asks you questions, no. And that's why I do not welcome the question, people asking you, trying to compare you and ask you some very intricate and private questions about your life, about your family, what is happening, like why do you want to know? So those people who ask questions they're not supposed to ask, who want to know what they're not supposed to know, I personally unfriend them. And so we also talk about the third category, the gossipers. The gossipers, Mr. Gossiper. You know, one of the things that can destroy your career, destroy your reputation with friends, ruin your relationships with people is when they notice that you're a gossiper. And gossiping is dangerous. Gossiping will ruin you, ruin your family, ruin your children, ruin your generations. And you don't want to be remembered as somebody who is a gossiper. You don't want that to happen to you. Yes, you don't want that to happen to you because it doesn't hurt. And so when somebody comes to you and is like, Hey, have you heard about, do you know that? Say, I don't want to hear this. You could say in a very nice way, maybe something like this. Let me write a script for you. Maybe something like this. Hey, Mary, thank you for this conversation you've had with me. I really appreciate it. I would love us to at least consider or continue this conversation next time. Thank you. That is a very kind and nice way to let the person know that you're busy and you want to leave. That's so important because you don't have time to entertain all of these kind of conversations. Because if they come and gossip with you, of course, you know the same. They will go back and gossip with the other person, not about any other person, but about you. So beware of that. Of course, we talked about the fourth category, which was the enabler, the bad habits, procrastinators. You have a plan to do something today with somebody, and the person just got the one who like, let's do it tomorrow. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm in a bad mood. What? Like, do you know that if we don't do it now, we'll never have time again to do it? Because today is 2 p.m. Central Standard Time in Minnesota, in United States. Same time tomorrow will be 2 p.m. Not on the 12th of August, but on the 13th of August. Okay? So this very 2:34 will never, ever in the history of the universe come back. And so the things you said you're going to do today, today is your yesterday's tomorrow. So the things you say you're going to do tomorrow, if you don't do them now, forget about them. You will never have time to do it. You may do them again, but guess what? In a different time, not this very time. You already predestined to do them. And so those people can really be a pain on your neck. You don't want that. Gossipers, unfriend gossipers, cut off relationships with gossipers. They will destroy your reputation. You miss great contracts, big opportunities because of them. And of course, the sixth, the fleeker. Who are the fleekers? The fleekers, again, are people that they disappoint you only at the point that you most expected them. They disappoint you only at the point you most expected their help. You most expected their support. You most expected them to show up as friends. And they're like, hey, I'm not available. Hey, I'm busy. Hey, something came up. If you know people like that, no. Well, I understand that things can happen, friend. Let's not misinterpret this, right? Things can happen. You can really have good intentions to help somebody to do something, and something really comes up inadvertently, and you can't do anything about that. We understand. That can happen once, friend. That can happen twice, friends. That can happen twice, friend. Thrice, friend. But guess what? If it becomes an obsession, then it's a problem. You don't want to say that I will never do that again. No. How many times? If you can tell me that you will never do that again the first time, you will never do that again the second time, you will never do that again the third time, the fourth time, I'm not going to accept it. Well, you may judge me. Well, you may say that can be too hard. But again, life is made up of choices and decisions. So as you make your choices, so shall it be. My mother used to tell me that as you cut your cake, so shall it be. So you have to learn to, at times, to enjoy the fruits of your decisions. They could be bad fruits or good fruit. They could be painful experiences or good experiences. Just enjoy because you make the decision. Go ahead and enjoy it because that's what you decided. And so when you decide to do something, just enjoy the result. Enjoy the result. And when the result is good, celebrate. When it's bad, enjoy it and learn from the experience. So that is to say, there are a lot of people who also rescue people when they are going through pain, prematurely. There is a way pain shapes you. Okay, pain shapes you. I mean, what I'm doing today is as a result of pain that shapes me. And I used to imagine if my friends, if my parents could have rescued me prematurely, I could have been maybe somewhere in one part of the world doing my hunting or doing whatever thing. Okay, or doing whatever thing. I'm not saying that hunting is not a career, it's not a good thing, but I'm just saying that That is not what I want to do with my life. So I'm saying that you can find yourself doing some menial jobs, doing some kind of things you never wanted to do just because you were rescued prematurely and you did not learn the lessons that you had to learn when you made that mistake that you made when you were in that low moment in your life. All right, that's what I mean. So you have to identify those people and know that, hey, if they constantly show up this way, you have to cut them off or unfriend them. And of course, the next one, cyberbullying. We'd say the cyberbullying kind of friends that people who use social media like Facebook and LinkedIn to sabotage people's reputation, to destroy people, to ill-treat people, to malbad people. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. People cannot be coming to have inspiration on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and you're intoxicating them with nuisance, with the terrible environment and bad information, facts that you cannot even claim and verify them. That's what I'm talking about. So you have to beware of people who are into cyberbullying. They criticize pastors. Yes, of course, we have men of God that they are crazy. Like some of them are really crazy. Okay, but is that job like criticizing them? I mean, even some people that you really respect, they criticize and sabotage their efforts. No, friend, no. And again, they criticize politicians. There are some politicians that really deserve to be criticized. But again, you don't take that as your job because you're not going to be paid for that. You can criticize a politician, that's fine, that's good, but you don't take it as a habit. People don't like such kind of negative energy. And when you have such person that's too negative around you, friend, beware of that friend, unfriend that person. That you don't want that kind of negative energy. You want somebody who's inspirational, optimistic, that helps you to see light, to see goodness, to see faithfulness, to see joy, to see happiness. That's the kind of friends you want to keep around you. And of course, we talked about friends that are actually we talked about the negative, the cyberbullying, the time wasters. I don't want to overemphasize on that. People that waste time, they shouldn't be your friend because you're getting older and not younger. That's why I don't celebrate people's birthday that they have not contributed significantly into the world. When you are not living on your assignment, your dreams, doing the things that brought you on earth, I really don't celebrate your birthday. And it's okay, you don't celebrate my birthday. If you feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, don't celebrate my birthday. That's so important. We should not deceive ourselves. Go ahead celebrating a birthday, gallivanting everywhere, throwing champagnes and doing stuff while we are doing the opposite of what we came to do on earth. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I do not have time for that. So watch out for people who waste time. They whine, they complain, they blame everybody. They blame their mothers, their fathers, their siblings, their uncles, the ecosystem, the government. They blame they even blame time. Oh my gosh. They blame time. It's crazy. Everybody was given 24 hours. Now, what that means is that your assignment on earth per day, you can do a lot within 24 hours. So how dare you blame time? A time is too short, it's running too fast. It's because you are not intentional about your life, friend. So stop blaming. And if you have that kind of person who's waste time, it may be you're behaving like that because you're all surrounded by people who behave like that. You don't want to do that. Jim Rohn would say, you're the average of the 5 people you spend your time with it. I made up my mind long ago to cut off any relationship in my life that they were not adding value and that I was trying to add value and they were resisting. I cut off. And that is it. So, validation seekers, we talked about validation seekers. These are people that they constantly ask you to approve them for what they want to do before they do it. Boy, if I couldn't have never been here if I was like that. You know what? People don't really care at times. People don't really care. Why should you keep on asking people to tell you what to do why they don't really care? No, let's be honest. In one of my books, I'm not trying to advertise my books here, by the way, that's cool. I wrote a book when I was growing up in Africa. The title of the book was 25 Things to Do Before You Turn 30 Years, So in this book, I talked about the concept, Very powerful concept. I also learning the 18, 40, 60 rule. At the age of 18 years, 19 years, 20, 25 years, at that youthful age, you're like, anything you want to do, you're like, mom, should I do this? Dad, should I do this? Uncle, should I do this? Auntie, should I do this? Friend, should I do this? And most of the time, they will tell you, no, don't do it. You know why? It's because they are talking from the lens of their limitations. Okay? Because they never did that. They don't want you to do it because they want you to be safe. And they don't do that out of hatred. They do that out of love for you. They don't want you to be in pain. Now, guess what? At 40 years, you don't really want to ask people if I should do this or not. Because you feel like you're matured enough to just do it. Huh? Because you feel like you can reason for yourself. And then at 60 years, you begin to regret. How I wish I did this thing when I was 18. How I wish I wrote this book when I was 20. How I wish I started this career when I was 25. I asked everybody to me, no, you could not do it. Simply because they have never done it. So this is the rule. Don't misinterpret me and what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should be stubborn to your parents, stubborn to your mentors and coaches. No, don't be stubborn. You need to be obedient. But, friend, learn to discern when they are talking from their limitations, lack of exposure, lack of experience, to when they are actually talking from their hearts and from God after they have heard Him. Because most of the time, parents mislead their children. There are children around the world very talented, highly skillful, very determined, very focused, ambitious, good. But some of their parents have told them that, hey, you can't do this thing. It's not possible. Here, you can't do it. And they block them from exploring new opportunities, new platforms, new horizons, new platform, new places, new projects. And that's how they lost their life opportunities. And they always end up regretting. You don't want that to happen to you. So don't validate a lot. You don't necessarily have to validate. At times, when I think some things are really good, when I've shared with my wife and shared with my advisors, accountability partners, I just execute it. So in fact, most of the time, the highest person I need to share whatever I want to do with is just my wife. Once she says yes, once she says she's for it, I'm shooting to the moon. And that is it. So you don't need to ask. At times, they only see it when I'm doing the execution. So at times, that could be cool at times. So you need to watch out for friends who constantly ask you. If you give them feedback first time, second time, third time, if they don't take action, when they come the fourth time to ask feedback, if I'm the one, I will not give it. That's hard. Yeah, I totally accept. Then we have the drama magnet. People who look for troubles here and there. They constantly share you problems that have gotten into it. No, I'm like, you face your problem, next time you're gonna face it yourself, bro. You're gonna face it yourself, sis. Like, friend, you face it yourself. You have to avoid people like that. And so that's where we ended before we went for our break. So we talked about 10 so far. I wanted to write down something, okay? I don't want to say write down who you are or write down the friend that you have to cut off. So, but if you can write down the kind of friend that you will have to cut off, I'll be so grateful. Before we dive to the 11th and 12th, let me just read some comments to hear what our viewers around the world are saying. Prosper, distraction addict, complainers, gossiper. Okay, good. I don't know if these are the ones you have to cut off. Prosper, procrastination, negative influencers, figures, saboteur leaders, time water wasters. If you don't plan for your life, someone will plan for you. Validation seekers. Oh yeah. Yep. Consequences follows decision. I am not too small to go global. Thank you, Lenjo. Impact. Great job. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching live. Prosper and Lenjo Valentine. Impact Lenjo. Thank you and congratulations for your book you just launched. I think yesterday. Great job, bro. I hope the sales going on. I cannot wait to read my own copy. I'll have to probably looking forward to get my copy. So, dear friend, number 11, the superficial friend. Just from the name superficial. Do you want to have people that are superficial? Get friends that are real. Somebody who can tell you that, hey, Oliver, what you're doing is this. I don't like what you're doing. I will understand. You have to change. I will understand. Don't have friends who say that, oh, wow, you're doing so amazing. You're doing so great. You're doing fantastic. Keep it on. Superficial. They're not real. Any friend who cannot tell you that really on your face, like, hey, this is wrong. Change. It's not a friend you should keep around you. Most of the time, you know. So watch out. When people just come and they tell you that, oh, this is what you're doing, it's fantastic, it's beautiful, keep it up, that's dangerous. Run. Remove your slippers, your shoes, and run barefooted. You know, when you run barefooted, you run, most of the time, you run faster. Run. Don't keep such friends. They will not help you to grow. They will keep you in a one spot for a long, long time. And finally, friend, the oversharers. The oversharers. What's the problem with the oversharers? These people, they can ruin your reputation and they can destroy families and homes. Oversharers. Who are the oversharers? These are people that they share things on social media they're not supposed to share. They share information they're not supposed to share. They give too much, more than it has been asked or it was asked for. Now, those people, you don't want to associate yourself with them. You have to limit your interaction, limit your association, limit how often you show up with them, because they can ruin you. So you need to avoid as much as possible, possibly unfriend oversharers, because such people will not help you. And so, whew, what a podcast. What a conversation. What a blessing. And so we have discussed 12 kind of friends that you friend, or you have to run away from them. And so type on the comment section the ones that you have identified that are currently in your life right now, and they have been in relationship with you, and you are or you're in relationships with them, and the juice is not worth squishing. What that means is that the friendship is not worth keeping again. So what is the relationship? Just type on the comment section if you're watching now or you're going to watch after, and let us know the ones you identify that are currently in your life and you want to let them go. You want to liberate them. Okay? So that was it for today. Great. If you have any question, you can drop, and we'll be so happy to answer your question. And again, next on Friday, we're going to be bringing an amazing guests, in the house. And you don't want to wait for that particular guest to come in. I'm so excited about the people who are coming on board. We're bringing in speakers and people from different countries of the world to be interviewed this weekend and next week. And stay tuned. We're going to be announcing to you our next guest shortly, not long from now. And let's make it count, friend. Let's make it count. May God bless you wherever you're watching us from, and may His face shine upon you, and may His hands anoint your head and make you glorious, even as you shift out the kind of relationships you found yourself into, even as you prepare for your glorious future that God has planned for you. God had planned for you long, long before you were born. Friend, my name is Nshom. I wish you a wonderful rest of the week until we meet again on Friday. This was the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, and I was the host, Nshom. Until we meet again, see you at the top. And of course, enjoy this beautiful advert as we close the curtains up. You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's moment for you to shine. We will work with you one-on-one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and list it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time.